Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining me today, because we're going to dive deep into one of the most astonishing, mind-bending creatures on planet Earth. You know, we spend a lot of time looking at nature's majestic, beautiful animals, but today, we're looking at something that pretty much defies every expectation of what an animal should be. So get ready, because we are unpacking the bizarre and completely fascinating world of the Surinam toad.
So, let me ask you a question to kick things off. What amphibian has absolutely no tongue, looks remarkably like flattened roadkill, and literally births fully formed babies right out of its own back? If you're drawing a complete blank right now, I honestly don't blame you. It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi horror movie, right? But this creature is very real, and its adaptations are a total masterclass in evolutionary survival.
All right, let's just get right into it. The answer to that wild question is the Surinam toad, scientifically known as Pipa. Now, here's the funny thing. Despite the name toad, which usually makes us think of those bumpy, land-dwelling amphibians we see in our gardens, this creature is actually a fully aquatic species of frog in the Pipidae family. It spends virtually its entire life completely underwater, in the murky swamps and flooded rainforest basins of South America and Trinidad.
Let's jump into Section 1, Anatomy of an Alien, Nature's Strangest Frog.
Think about a normal frog for a second. You probably picture it sitting nicely on a lily pad, using a long, sticky tongue to snatch a fly out of the air, right? Well, you can go ahead and forget all of that. The Surinam toad lacks both teeth and a tongue entirely. It physically cannot catch food in that traditional frog fashion. Instead, it basically turns its entire face into a high-powered vacuum to just suck up fish and invertebrates completely whole.
Now, hearing all that, you might be picturing something tiny, but take a look at this number, 17. Female Surinam toads can actually grow up to a massive 17 centimeters. That's almost 7 inches long. The males are just a bit smaller, reaching up to about 15 centimeters. So imagine a creature roughly the size of a large adult hand, just lurking down there at the bottom of a riverbed.
And all these physical traits combined to create the ultimate camouflage. Seriously, the Surinam toad looks exactly like a decaying, mottled brown dead leaf. It has an exceptionally flat, almost squashed-looking body, a broad triangular head, and these tiny bead-like eyes with no eyelids. But the most bizarre feature? For sure, it's those long, unwebbed fingers on its front limbs that end in tiny, star-shaped structures. These star fingers are packed with highly sensitive organs, perfectly designed to detect the absolute slightest movement in the dark, murky waters of countries like Brazil, Ecuador, and Peru. Moving right along to Section 2, the vacuum ambush predator, suction feeding.
So how does it hunt? The process is terrifyingly efficient. Step 1. The toad rests completely motionless at the bottom of the water, blending in perfectly as a piece of dead foliage. Step 2. An unsuspecting worm, crustacean, or a small fish swims by and just barely brushes against those sensitive star fingers. Step 3. Bam! The toad rapidly snaps open its incredibly wide mouth, which instantly creates a powerful vacuum. And Step 4. It sucks the prey in completely whole. No chewing, no grabbing, just instantaneous suction.
And to pull this off, here's another crucial number to keep in mind. 1. Because they practically never leave the water voluntarily, they have adapted to hold their breath for a remarkably long time. A Surinam toad can remain completely submerged, just waiting in ambush, for up to 1 full hour before it ever needs to pop up to the surface for a breath of air. All right, let's get into the wildest part. Section 3, the legendary back-brooding reproduction.
Okay, quick timeout before we get into the mechanics of this. I have to give a playful little warning about trypophobia, which, if you don't know, is an aversion or fear of clusters of small holes or bumps. The Surinam toad's reproductive cycle is famously viral on the internet for triggering this exact phobia. So if you get a bit squeamish about that sort of thing, brace yourself, because the biology here is just completely wild.
Let's see how this all plays out step by step. During the autumn and winter mating season, the male doesn't croak. Instead, he snaps a bone in his throat, the hyoid bone, creating this rapid metallic clicking sound entirely underwater. Once he attracts a female, he grabs her around the waist in a massive embrace. Then, the pair performs these incredible midwater acrobatics, literally somersaulting in vertical loops for hours. At the very peak of each loop, the female releases a few eggs. The male immediately fertilizes them, and then, get this, he literally squishes them down onto the skin of her back. Over the next few days, a sticky secretion acts like glue, holding those eggs in place, and the mother's skin does something absolutely incredible. The skin on her back actually swells up and grows around the 60 to 100 eggs.
It completely swallows them up, forming these individual honeycomb-like pockets that are safely sealed shut with a protective, horny lid.
And here we go, the grand finale of this bizarre process. Unlike most frogs you learned about in school, there is no free-swimming tadpole stage here. Nope, the young develop through their entire metamorphosis safely zipped up inside those pockets on their mom's back. After 3 to 5 months, fully formed miniature toadlets literally burst right out of the mother's skin to swim off and start their lives. It is an astonishing, crazy sight to behold. And once they've all popped out, the mother simply sheds that old, ruined layer of skin and gets ready for the next cycle.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 4, Conservation and Takeaways.
Thankfully, I have some genuinely great news to share with you here. The International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List classifies the Surinam toad as least concern. Now, sure, they do face some localized threats from habitat loss due to deforestation and agricultural runoff, but overall, their populations across northern South America are widely distributed and incredibly stable. So this little freak of nature is actually a highly successful, thriving marvel of adaptation.
Which leaves us with this final provocative thought to chew on. If evolution engineered this literal alien, a flat, tongueless, vacuum-sucking frog that gives birth out of its own back, just to perfectly master survival in muddy, stagnant waters, what other completely bizarre, mind-bending adaptations are lurking right now in the unexplored waters around the world? The Surinam toad isn't a mistake. It's pure evolutionary genius. Keep your curiosity alive, keep asking those big questions, and hey, thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.